Hi guys, and welcome back to class. Today we are going to record the word strategy inside of our workbooks or inside of our notebooks. A strategy is a noun and it means a thorough plan or a method or approach. And some synonyms are words that are similar to the word strategy is action plan, policy, technique, and tactic. Then I want you to ask yourselves, what strategies for social change did members of the civil rights movement use in Claudette Colvin Twice Towards Justice? What strategies for social change did members of the civil rights movement use in Claudette Colvin Twice Towards Justice? For this lesson, our essential question is, how do people affect social change? And our focusing question, what strategies do people use to affect social change? In our organized stage, what's happening in social media sparked accelerated Egypt's revolutionary fire? Remember that Philip House's purpose in writing Claudette Colvin Twice Towards Justice was to re-evaluate the contributions that different people made to the civil rights movement. In this focusing question sequence, you will understand how contemporary change agents create social change by looking at two authors' analysis of particular strategies people employ to create change. So the first thing that I want to do is I want you guys to look at this object. And then I want you to ask yourselves, what do you notice and wonder about this object? So some of you might say that it's much bigger at the bottom and then it gets smaller towards the top. What are some other things that you guys notice and wonder about this object? Now for the article, Social Media Sparked Accelerated Egypt's Revolutionary Fire. I want you guys to number the paragraphs and then listen to each paragraph as it's read aloud. And then I want you to annotate for what you notice and wonder. I will post this article inside of Schoology. If 3 decades of violent repression and despotic rule was kindling for the Egyptian revolution, social media was both a spark and an accelerant for the movement. Did social media like Facebook and Twitter cause the revolution? No, but these tools did speed up the process by helping to organize the revolutionaries, transmit their messages to the world, and galvanize international support. In the same way that pamphlets didn't cause the American Revolution, social media didn't cause the Egyptian Revolution, said Sasha Mithrath, director of the New American Foundation's Open Technology Initiative. Social media have become the pamphlets of the 21st century, a way that people who are frustrated with the status quo can organize themselves and coordinate protests in the case of Egypt Revolution. It is truism in political science that successful revolutions are born in the streets, from the Boston Massacre of March 1770 and the storming of the Bastille in Paris in July 1789, to the streets of Cairo in January and February of 2011. What has shocked most observers of the current Egyptian scene is the sheer speed with which the regime fell, 18 days. And that's where modern communication technology has had the most potent impact. Rafat Ali, a social media expert and founder of the paid content, said Facebook and Twitter played different roles in the uprising. Facebook helped to organize the activists inside of the country, he said, while Twitter functioned to help get the message out to the broader world. Facebook definitely had a role in organizing this revolution, Ali told Wired.com. It acts like an accelerant to conditions which already exist in the country. Twitter and YouTube serve as an amplification for what's happening on the ground, and they directly affect Western media coverage. One of the things that social media does is transmission of hope across these countries, Ali added, referring to Tunisia Egypt, and other repressed countries in the Middle East. Ali said the regimes in Tunisia and Egypt had underestimated the power of technology to organize activists and drive the movement. These despots are 5 generations older than the youth, Ali said. None of these people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s have ever used Facebook or Twitter. Lawrence Pentak, author of The New Arab Journalist, pointed out on CNN that despite the speed with which the Mubarak regime fell, bloggers and digital activists have been working toward a reform under violent repression in the Middle East for years. This is a digital revolution that has been happening for quite a while, Pentak said. CNN host Anderson Cooper earlier asked former CIA Director James Woosley whether the U.S. intelligence community has fully grasped the power of social media in catalyzing pro-democracy movements worldwide. I think they're starting to, Woosley replied. I know people who for years now have been trying to get them to help the right types of equipment and software into places, like Iran, in order to take advantage of people's desires for freedom. We should have been doing exactly what has happened in Egypt, Woosley added. We should have been trying to help foster that in Iran, helping them set up servers to protect their Facebooks, protect their Twitters, and we really have not. Well, Ghonim, the young Google executive who has become a symbol of Egypt's pro-democracy uprising after he launched the original Facebook page credited with sparking the initial protests called the Egyptian Upheaval Revolution 2.0. If you want to liberate a country, give them the internet, Ghonim said. He credited Facebook and its young founder Mark Zuckerberg as an inspiration. This revolution started on Facebook, Ghonim told CNN. I want to meet Mark Zuckerberg someday and thank him personally. Asked by CNN host Wolf Blitzer what repressive Middle Eastern state would be the next to fall, the young activist replied, "Ask Facebook." So, after reading the article, what did you notice and wonder? Now looking at the second article. I will post this article inside of Schoology for you to read. And then you're going to answer the question, what is the Arab Spring? Examine the context for simple events in Claudette Colvin Twice Towards Justice. You analyze the ways that the historical and the social context of Jim Crow, as well as Claudette's personal situation, motivated her action of refusing to move on the bus. And you have also examined the historical and legal context that led MIA leaders to develop the federal lawsuit Browder v. Gale. Now, based on the introduction of this article that I will be placing inside of Schoology, what do you know about the Arab Spring? And based on the timeline structure, what do you know about the Arab Spring? Based on the regime change icon, what do you know about the Arab Spring? Now you guys are going to break up into sections. I'll have you guys in groups online, and you're going to write a 1 to 2 sentence summary of each section of what's happening in Egypt Explained, this article here. So if I assign you paragraph 1 through 5, you're going to write a 1 to 2 sentence summary of what you read. 6 through 8, the same. 9 through 12, same. 13 through 19, the same. Then you will share your 1 to 2 sentence summaries inside of the discussion board. Then ask yourself, what caused the Egyptian Revolution? And what roles did social media play in the Egyptian Revolution? Then explain Wael Ghanim's statement from paragraph 16, if you want to liberate a country, give them the internet. What did he mean by that? Then I want you to look at the word repressive in paragraph 1 and 11, the word accelerant in paragraph 1 and 7, the word organize in paragraph 2, 3, 6, and 9, and the word amplification in paragraph 7. From these words, I want you to consider the question, how can social media affect change? Write each word on a piece of paper and create a relationship map with social media at the center. So social media is going to be at the center of your map, and you're going to draw lines at how social media can create repression, accelerate, organize, amplification, or revolution. And then share your social media maps with others. So here is going to be an example of a social media map. So here is social media in the center, and we know that social media is an accelerant, and it can help organize and it can help amplify things. But when you add fuel to something, that can get people upset and start a revolution. But it could get people upset and then make others repress other people's thoughts. So this is an example of a relationship map. To end this lesson, our content framing question in our organized stage says, what is happening in social media sparked accelerated Egyptians' revolutionary fire? Then write a new headline for Gustein's article, including at least one of the vocabulary words from this lesson. So you're going to write a new headline for that article using one of these words. Tonight's homework is to complete your fluency homework handout 11A and to reread Social Media Sparked Accelerated Egypt's Revolutionary Fire. Now on to our vocabulary deep dive. What words do you know that use mit as a root? So we've got commit, admit, submit, commitment, permit, omit, and very many more. The root mit means send. Now I want you to look at the paragraph 2 of Social Media Sparked Accelerated Egypt's Revolutionary Flyer, and you're going to find the word transmit. The sentence reads as follows. But these tools did speed up the process by helping to organize the revolutionaries, transmit their message to the world, and galvanize international support. Gustein. Using your knowledge of the word root, which means to send, and your context clues, I want you to determine the meaning of the unknown word transmit, and then identify a synonym for the word transmit. The word transmit means to send from one point to another, to communicate, to spread. Some examples of transmit synonyms would be to dispatch or to broadcast or to pass. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's lesson. If you need any help, please come to office hours Monday through Friday, 11:22 to 12:06 p.m.